Today we're going to talk about a lost art that if you don't master soon, your business is going to be in trouble. But don't worry. By the end of this episode, we're going to teach you how to own any room, even if you're feeling imposter syndrome. So often, Madeline, we think back in our career, right? We started our businesses before social media, and we truly learned early on how to build a network and how to have real engagement, real authentic relationships, and really grow a group and an audience that when we spoke, they responded. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I think we always did is we learned how to enter and be in the rooms. What is one of the things that you look at, or more, one of the things that you look at when you're about to make real engagement and enter a room?
That's a loaded question, and I have lots of different ways that we can do that and give people really the playbook as to how to walk into a room, how to really assess whether you want to be in that room. Because first of all, the way I do it, let's just start there. The way I do it, I look at who's inviting me to the event. What is their reputation? What does their brand look like, right? Do I want to associate myself with that brand? That's important to know that, right? The second thing is, what intention can I come in with? How I dress is very important. How I walk into a room, shoulders back, eyes just straight up, not looking for permission in the room. That's important to do that as well. Is it connection that I'm searching for, or is it just really truly a business opportunity? Am I going to serve? How am I going to really show up? It's important. So those are just a few things that I do personally. And if it's not going to align with who I am and the thing, I feel I'm not going to get, and I know there's a lot of people that say, well, just show up anyways. You don't never know. True. And there's always something that you can gain from those places, but I don't waste my time in going to those places if I don't think I'm going to really serve that community how I want it to serve it.
So that's a great point, is understanding the room you're about to walk into, or people are asking to be into. I think it's important, like you said, to, and I know this is something that you do when you ask people to come with you to an event, is you think about the event and the person and actually do that and say, is this an event that this person would get value out of and can bring value, right? Because to me, that's one of the unique things about knowing and having real relationships with people, is that when you truly know them, because I know there are times that when you've been inviting people to go with you, there are some that you invite on that one, but not on this one, not on this one, but not on that one, right? Because it's important for them to know that you are you are inviting them. And just like when we've had events, we look at curating that room to add value to the room, not necessarily only for us.
Or fill the room.
Yes.
It's not about filling the room. It's about intentionality. And that's why when we invite people, people show up. And because they know that I have intentionally thought through what energy do I want out of that room? Can they collaborate together? Are they committed to the same values, right? And that's such an important thing. I don't need 1,000 people. I just need the right people.
Right. So one of the things I was going to bring up is, a lot of times people think they're not worthy. And in the intro, we talked about imposter syndrome. What would you tell someone that, this is probably the room I should be in, but I don't think I'm worthy? How do you address that to someone like that?
So I have addressed this before. And first of all, let me just say that everyone suffers from imposter syndrome. Everyone. Doesn't matter what level you're in, because every level requires a different version of you. So that's one. Number two, when you start feeling that way, that imposter syndrome creeping in, it's about the size of the room. Because every time you move into a bigger room, you question yourself whether you belong in that room. And a very simple reframe that I like to use, and I will absolutely encourage people to use when that comes up, is instead of saying, do I belong in this room? Just say, what can this room gain from my presence? What value can I add to this room? And once we reframe that thought process from a mindset that way, I can assure you, you're going to feel so much better, because now you're not making it about you. You're making it about how you're going to serve and show up.
I love that. And I know
you do.
I do. I love that because I've actually personally experienced imposter syndrome at times. And you talked to me through that a number of years ago, but I try to always remember that it's not about me. It's about them. And then when I do that, I don't feel like I have to be the smartest person in the room, right? I just have to be able to add the value that I think I can add to the room. And so it makes it a lot easier for me as well. So I've always thanked you for that, and I appreciate that. And it is a powerful nugget, and people should grab that one. And
absolutely.
That's my personal opinion. Now, when you're going into the room, I know one of the things that we do is if we're going to a networking event or we're going to a room that we're being invited into, we do a little pre-work, right? And we make sure that we know what our goals and objectives are. We make sure we know how we want to introduce ourselves. We have a whole host of things that we do, including what is going to be our question that we're going to ask. So, it's interesting for me is so often I hear people have the number one biggest mistake in setting a goal for walking into a network event. And you know what it is?
What's that? But I don't know what it is, but I'm sure you're going to tell me.
I am. I always hear them say, my goal here is to make a sale. And I caution people on that, because if you are only transactional in your goal, not only is it more likely that you're not going to get a transaction, you're building a reputation for yourself that you're only in it for you. And to me, that's a networking killer.
Yes, connection versus transactional. That's such a big deal right now, especially as we're moving through, technology, that it's not making that connection online, and people are trying to figure that out. And the way they're using it, obviously understanding that whatever tools they're using doesn't have emotions.
Right.
So, people connect with people that have emotions, and they feel it. They feel that energy, even if it's a virtual conversation. People look at body language. People look at all those things. So yeah, it's that transactional thing it's becoming a thing of the past.
I love that you brought up the virtual. I actually, as you know, on the National Small Business Association Leadership Council.
Yes, I do.
That's not a plug for the National Small Business Leadership Council. It is just that I'm on it. We do a virtual networking once a month. And it's interesting because even in that environment, I use the same techniques that we talk about all the time. I prepare, because I think when you don't go prepared, you're setting yourself up for a bad experience. And then that's when you start feeling that imposter syndrome, right? So I know for me, one of the first things I do is I said, what do I really want to achieve? Now, my personal goal is pretty small, I think. Depending on the size of the room, if it's a large room, maybe it's a slightly higher number. If it's a small room, maybe it's just one. But I like to ultimately have conversations that ultimately lead that I get 1 to 3 whether I want to use business cards or contacts, that I know I can take that conversation deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And then for me, that gives me a small goal that makes me feel like I'm winning in that environment. It also makes me, I'm adding value, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm taking that conversation to another level, that level may not be necessarily for me. It might be for them,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? What is your goal when you walk into a room?
Yours is lofty. Mine is very simple. One good connection. That is all. And it's one good connection, and it encompasses many different pillars in that connection. I don't want to fill my, we used to call it Rolodex, but the contact list with a whole bunch of useless contacts.
Correct.
Because I do engage them afterwards at a much deeper level. Like I will send a thank you note for, it was great meeting them, and, the value that they added to me on that situation. So I do have a follow-up, and so I don't want to have to follow up with a whole bunch of people that are, I don't want to be that person either.
Right.
And, offer if there's anything ever I can do to help.
Right.
I am available. Right. They have to schedule a time, but still, I can make myself available. So I don't do surface level conversations. So I need to be stimulated by deeper conversations. So I like to just get the one person that's going to really potentially collaborate at some level at one point, even if it's on stage together, or if it's, doing volunteer work at a organization that I align with. That's all I need. I do work on connection more than transactional at all. I mean, I don't ever expect anybody to do anything or to even buy my product, especially friends.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I did start with 1 to 3, just so you know.
So did yours change now?
No.
Oh,
I still said 1 to 3.
okay. I'm just checking.
Just making sure. So one of the things too that I think is a lost art is understanding what the answers are to the questions that you asked.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we always do is we actually already have in our mind how we are going to address the question, what do you do? Right? But I think more importantly, I think it's understanding the question you should be asking them. Because to your point, it's not about you, it's about them.
Mm-hmm.
What is your opening question?
Oh gosh. So when first of all, when they ask me, what do you do? I'll just give them a very brief. I don't give them my resume. It's not about that. I want to really learn about them. What do they do, and how can I serve them? So I start by saying, so tell me something exciting that you're working on, because it kind of takes that, it breaks the ice.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't feel like, oh, she's going to sell me something. No, I want to know about you, right, and how I can help you. How can I be of assistance? And that's how I really start my conversations, and I'll see what it will do from there.
I love that, because it's also, not only is it getting to learn a little bit about them, and then by learning about what they're working on, you kind of already are filtering out if this is a person that I want to go deeper with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's important. You also said something, you give a quick little one-liner to you. And in today's day, you have what, about 3 to 5 seconds to get somebody to retain any interest in what you're about to say, and really creating a quick elevator pitch. I love that you said it was 1 sentence, maybe 2. But to me, for example, like when they ask me, hey, what do you do? We work with smart but stuck entrepreneurs that need to go to the next level of 7 and 8 figures. And then the question is, do they ask a question?
Yeah, how do you do that?
Right.
Then you go into it.
But see, and what I do I kind of do a similar question that you do. Right after that, I said, but more importantly, what is a project you're working on right now?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because now they know who I am. They know what I do. And I've already flipped it. And I want to know what about you. Because to me, you said it beautifully. It's not about you. It's about them. How do I serve them? Because if you believe in the whole concept of give to get, that's what networking is. And I think people have to learn that's how you build connection. That's how you build the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny is you don't have a Rolodex anymore.
No,
But you have a contact list
I do.
that is made up of doers.
Mm-hmm.
And if you call them, you know they're going to call you back.
Yes.
More than likely, they're going to take the call. And it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody that you're talking to every day.
So true. Well, again, it's releasing that expectation from the people, right? So you don't get disappointed, and earning the credibility and the right to be answered. For your call to be answered or picked up, and not sent to the voicemail.
But even if you're getting a voicemail, be prepared. Be prepared for what is that message.
Yeah.
Right? Because, how many times have you gotten a call and the person's just stumbling? Okay, you called me.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't have to try to figure out why you actually called.
Mm-hmm. I don't answer those calls.
Excellent. Anyway.
I screen my calls. They have to let me know what they're calling about first.
So I think another thing that I know we do, and I think we see this a lot that people don't do. If you're going to really own the room, and you mentioned this early, is you need
to dress.
To dress.
Yes.
You need to present at a level that is respectable to the people you're meeting, but also says that you respect yourself.
Absolutely.
And I see it too often. I mean, we were at one and I was like, okay, really? This guy's wearing shorts.
Well, I think that people got confused about what kind of brand do you really want to have? And I got to say that there are differences in brands, so like you and I have an executive brand. Mm-hmm. That is who we are. They are influencers brand. And they have to dress whatever makes them feel comfortable that they have developed their brand on. And that's a different type of brand. Mm-hmm. That is not the brand that I'm going for. For me, if I want to go into rooms where executives are the ones that have the money to pay for my services, then I have to make sure I mirror that. And so it really depends. You really need to nail down who are you serving really, and what is the brand that you have.
So it goes back to understanding the room you're about to walk in.
Absolutely.
And not every room is meant for you. And that, for example, back in the day.
What day was that, David?
It was a day that the motto was dress for success.
Yes.
And it meant something.
Was that like 30 years ago?
It might have been. But my point is that it still holds true.
Yes, absolutely.
It still holds true. The concept there was dress one level above where you are, dress one level above where you want to be.
Mic drop.
And when you do that, right? Now, that was in a corporate world, but it still works.
Absolutely.
You can be, quote unquote, someone that is their general work attire is not a professional dress. But if you choose to go into a room where you're talking to people that are business decision makers, executives, or maybe they're clients of yours, you can never presume how they are. I remember a long time ago, I had a sales force, and it was a nationwide sales force. And I would travel and I would go on sales calls with them. And I would always be dressed in suit and tie because that was the era. Mm-hmm. And this was a transition period where people were starting to dress a little bit more casual. But our clients were CPAs and attorneys and, people in that level.
Professionals, yeah.
And I remember walking, I got in the car with this guy and we were going to go on a sales call. And I said, I have just one question for you. How do you know you're going to be matching your prospect? And he goes, what do you mean? And I said, well, we're going to a law firm, or we're going into a CPA firm. And he's like, yeah. And I said, I don't know about you, but all the attorneys I know have a tie. All the CPAs at the time I know had a tie. I said, you're going open collar. I said, no, you may be right. I don't know. I mean, you set the call. And I remember this vividly. He looked at me and he said, well, but you might be overdressed. And I said, I can get to you quicker than you can get to me. And he said, prove it. And I just went like this and tucked on my tie. And I said, I'm no different than you. I'm wearing a jacket and slacks. But I said, what are you going to do? Are they going to be talking to you, or are they going to be talking to me?
Good point. Because authority, you don't dress to necessarily to impress, but you dress for authority.
Ooh.
There's a big difference.
If I could take this mic off, I would drop it on the floor.
Oh, boom. I'm going to drop it for you. No, seriously, authority.
Yeah.
That is when you walk into a room and you're dressed for success, people are going to flock to you because you represent authority. And just in the discussion. Yeah. I don't care who you are. If you know, and you're going to be trustworthy.
Totally.
Obviously, you have to back that trust with some sort of substance behind it, but it starts with the visual before you open your mouth.
Well, right, because people are already making
absolutely
a
the first 5 seconds, the minute you walk in the room, they're going to say, "Who is she? Who is he? What do they do? I want to know who they are."
That's right, exactly. So, I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to add on this topic?
No, I think I am good right now. I can talk about authority all day long, but I'm good.
Well, guys, I guess we're going to have a topic on one of our podcasts. It's going to be all about authority coming soon. Not today. However, what we wanted to come through today is one, the lost art needs to be mastered, and it's called creating connections, not on social media, real, authentic, value-driven relationships and connections. 2, if you're entering a room and you're not prepared for that room, you need to take moments before you get ready. You need to ascertain what the room is, who's going to be in it, and how you're going to add value. Be prepared to ask a question that is going to not be the typical question that somebody else asks. That's how you filter out if it's a person you want to build longer-term connection with and relationships with. Because with all the technology that's happening, what we do know this is one-on-one contact is always going to win the business. Until next time, thanks for joining us.
And let's get to work.